It's really surprised me how much we've missed by studying the brain for the past 20 years and excluding the body. Here at Mount Sinai, we've been conducting research on other organ systems, and we've discovered that the immune system can regulate a whole host of brain diseases, including depression.
That spans everything from addiction to schizophrenia,
multiple sclerosis,
depression and anxiety.
Neuroimmune disorders are a class of disease in which the immune system mistakenly recognizes the brain or the spinal cord as foreign tissue and attacks. So our goal is to understand these processes so that we can develop treatments to quiet down the immune system and prevent an erroneous attack.
My lab has identified inflammation, which is a response of the immune system, as a causal factor in the development of mood disorders. The microbiome is simply all the different types of bacteria that live in your gut. Within that lining are immune cells that can generate inflammation. As the bacterial composition of your gut changes, that interface also changes and leads to this release of inflammation into the bloodstream.
What we realize is that this inflammatory molecule will then migrate to the brain.
The brain and the spinal cord is a unique organ in that it has a barrier between the bloodstream and the tissue. This is to protect the milieu of the brain and the spinal cord from toxins that would disrupt its function. Previous work in multiple sclerosis has focused on how the immune system gets activated outside of the brain and the spinal cord. We're really focused in on how the function of immune cells gets modulated within the brain and the spinal cord, specifically by these specialized cells called astrocytes, which are the first brain and spinal cord cell type for these immune cells to encounter as they're crossing the blood-brain barrier.
When we are exposed to stress, we release a lot of inflammatory molecules, the same that we release upon infection. They are going to tell the immune system that something not very good is happening. The group that was depressed had this inflammatory molecule remained elevated in the blood. So the brain was reacting differently, right? So what's the relationship between what's produced in the blood and the brain? We developed a way of tracing them upon release to where they were going. These inflammatory molecules were crossing the blood-brain barrier and accumulating in the brain. And once in the brain, they were signaling to neurons and some immune cells. And by doing so, they were creating these cognitive disorders.
We have found that chronic stress induces inflammation. That inflammation then acts on brain circuits to control depression, which then feeds back down onto the immune system, creating a vicious cycle of inflammation and depression.
So now we have a way of really potentially acting on these results by building a therapy that will in fact reduce this accumulation of inflammatory molecule in the brain.
Hopefully, in 5 years, we will have approved anti-inflammatory treatments for depression or other mental illnesses.
If we can slow this process or target this process to stop it, this may be a treatment strategy.
And now with these new ways of looking at these disorders from a neuroimmune angle or from looking at the gut microbiome, it's providing really exciting new avenues for developing therapeutics that are thinking about things in a different way than people had previously. I think this really opens up a whole new field of research and a lot of exciting opportunities for the future.